This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, getting you ready for today's sports day.
3 of the first 4 games have been at home, so at some point in time you're going to have to venture outside the 806, so that'll start this week.
While having a little fun along the way.
Always good if you can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah, sure.
Especially some media guy.
Sure. Right, some media guy.
Catch the show live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
It's Wednesday, the day the work gets done. Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. You have a busy day today? Just the usual?
Yeah, usual, but it's busy.
Yeah, just the usual. Just the usual. Try to keep hope alive and all those kinds of things. Talk to the peeps for 5 hours. Just japping your jaws. Mm-hmm. Yapping your jaws. That's
probably a little bit of both, probably.
Hey, Jamie, how was the road between here and Amarillo?
It was nice.
Was it familiar?
It was very familiar.
Did it welcome you with its open arms as a familiar friend traveling on its road?
It did. There were no bumps in the road or police officers to slow me down. Yeah, I picked up my mail while I was there.
Yeah, it's good.
I've been there 5 times in 16 days.
Goodness.
Yeah.
You're like Choice Woodman. He's usually going down to see his Midland family quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Choice was there last night, too, so I got to see Choice. Yeah.
Were you a guest on his halftime show for Friendship Tiger basketball?
I was not.
Were you invited?
I was not invited.
Okay. Let's see. It's hard to be a guest if you're...
I think there's probably a lot of sense in not putting on a dad on the broadcast.
Okay.
I think they're making a lot of sense.
Okay. Could you have contained yourself, or did you have been like, why are they not passing the ball to my daughter, or why are they not?
No, I wouldn't have said that.
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't have said that.
You wouldn't have done that.
I did have a few questions after last night.
I was trying to convince Choice to do that during the broadcast, though. Yeah, every time they'd go a couple possessions without scoring. They got this Lent kid that is really playing well in the JV program. He wouldn't do it.
To which I said, if I hear that one time, you will be fired. Choice, you will be fired.
I would imagine
fully expect whenever it is her time to be on varsity, however many years from now that is, that he make fun of her the whole time. That's what I expect out of him.
I will tell you guys this. Last night when I got to the arena, Colorado was just beating the bejesus out of Louisiana. Tech will play Louisiana on Sunday in Lafayette, and I mean they were putting on a little bit of a run. I mean they were up by 1 million points. I think at one point it was like 50-17 or something, and then they go on this run, and during a little bit of quiet, I hear one of their assistant coaches go, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" And I'm like, "See, it's not just fans. It's not just."
I am not gonna lie. I said that more than once sitting in the stands last night.
Did you?
Not out loud.
Just
not out loud.
What are we doing?
Not out loud.
Yeah. Latest college football top 25 is out. This is for the college football playoff rankings. Georgia's 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, TCU 4, Tennessee is 5, then LSU at 6, and USC 7. Alabama is at 8, and then Clemson and Utah round out the top 10. So is it a fait accompli that if the top 4 win out, they're in? I mean, is that how you would look at that?
Well, Ohio State and Michigan are both in there, right?
So they're not going to win out. They're going to.
One of them's going to lose.
One of them's going to lose.
Yeah.
Can one of those survive a one loss, or by losing when they lose? If Tennessee were to win out, or LSU, they've got 2 losses. I think it would be hard to jump. I think it's going to be hard for LSU to jump in there.
But LSU is going to get to play in the conference championship game, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. So they're going to get an extra game.
Boy, if they took down Georgia.
Yeah. How
you going to not put them in there?
And then still have Georgia in there too?
Probably so.
Yeah.
So I would give them a chance. I think it's fair to say that Georgia, if they win out, they're in. Yeah, I think you can pretty much guarantee that one. I think you can guarantee that if TCU won out, they would be in.
Okay,
and
that's what I was going to ask you.
One of the other two, if they win out, they're going to be in.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is let's just say Georgia wins out but loses to LSU in the SEC championship game. Okay, and
there's no way an undefeated Big 12 team in this situation who's already in at number 4. I just don't think there's a way they get left out in this scenario. You're going to tell me you're going to put a 2-loss LSU team in there in front of them? I just don't think you can do that.
I would agree with you. I mean,
now you can tell me the eyeball test tells you differently, but I don't think that you can actually put them in there.
As much as we want to of TCU,
which I would love. That would be fantastic.
As much as we want to of TCU, because if we were
that
in
year,
this spot,
that year Baylor and TCU got left out just right behind. Oh man, it was heartbreaking.
But I mean, we all know. I mean, if you're in the same situation, and you're undefeated,
throwing a hissy fit if they got left out. Yeah. Yes,
we'd still be.
Just because they had an argument doesn't mean I want them to win it.
Yes, we'd be. I mean, we would be boycotting all that is in this college football world.
Yeah, right. No, we'd still be up in arms.
We'd be saying, I'm not watching a single down of that college football playoff, and we'd go, oh, we've seen the ratings. It sounds like nobody is.
We're not putting that on the air. We're gonna. If you want to find it, you can find it, right?
Sure.
You can go somewhere else. So Michigan takes on Illinois this week. TCU and Baylor play this week. That game is in Waco.
I'm not seeing it, unfortunately.
You're not seeing it, okay.
I see TCU winning that one, unfortunately.
Okay. Also, K-State, they're headed to the Big 12 championship game. They play West Virginia. I saw this early this morning.
Is that a guarantee at this point?
I think both the purple teams are playing for the Big 12. Well, I don't know if it's a guarantee, but it's almost a guarantee. I think there's
because they're just a game ahead of.
There's scenarios,
They're just 5-2 in the conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few teams that are 4-3, so the scenarios would be.
Yeah, there's still scenarios. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, not even difficult ones.
Yeah. I saw where Pat McAfee, who played at West Virginia, and now he's on ESPN as part of Game Day. He called firing, resignation, move out of the AD office, Shane Lyons, a solid move. It's a solid move. He didn't have any suggestions in terms of, who would be a solid move to put in there. I'm going to assume they probably want a West Virginian in there. You want one of your own. You always want one of your own. I don't care where you are.
Yes, but you also want the best coach possible. Isn't that what you want more than one of your own?
Sure.
I mean, not everybody. I mean, it's pretty rare when people hire one of their own, isn't it? It's the percentage is low. I mean, more times than not, you're not hiring. The
clamoring for one of your own is always high. The hiring of one of your own is not always.
I'm just saying, what 10% of college football jobs are held by a graduate of the school?
Yeah,
I bet even lower than that.
Probably so. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
So far, the championship games that are set, the SEC championship game is set with LSU and Georgia, and then Clemson and North Carolina in the ACC championship game. So, not that either one of those schools has a chance of getting into the college football playoff.
You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah. I mean,
impressive?
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is November the 16th, 2022. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start off in 1957 because Boston Celtics center Bill Russell sets an NBA record of 49 rebounds as Boston beats the Philadelphia Warriors 111-89 at the Boston Gardens. 1962, San Francisco Warriors center Wilt Chamberlain scores 73 points in a 127-111 win over the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden.
Well, at least they won.
Well, yeah.
It'd be pretty tough to
score 72 and lose.
Yeah.
Well, it can happen.
Man, that's a defensive struggle right there.
1966, Pittsburgh Pirate outfielder Roberto Clemente is named the National League MVP. 1969, U.S. President Nixon becomes the first president to attend a season NFL game while in office.
Was it a Washington Redskin game?
It was, and they lost to the Dallas Cowboys 41-28.
Yeah, tricky dick.
What year was that?
1969.
What year did the NFL start?
Oh, man. The Super Bowl era is 1966, but I mean, there was NFL in the 50s and the 40s, but certainly in the 60s. I'm surprised.
Wonder why a president never went before.
Other things to do on a Sunday, I guess.
Ike liked to play golf. I'm not sure. Ike liked to play golf. JFK liked to chase skirts, and maybe Nixon just had nothing else better to do than that.
Okay.
Roosevelt was a baseball guy, so
Well.
Excuse me. 1984. Houston blocks 20 Denver shots, tying an NBA regular season game record.
The Nuggets like to put up a lot of shots in those days.
They did. Run and gun.
1988. Jose Canseco is the first unanimous MVP in the American League since Reggie Jackson. And in 2003, Roger Federer of Switzerland wins his first of 6 season-ending Tennis Masters Cup titles with a 6-3, 6-0, 6-4 victory over American Andre Agassi in the final in Houston, Texas.
Be down.
Something we can all appreciate today. I want everybody to go out and find your favorite one. It is National Fast Food Day.
Okay.
Birthdays today. We need to pause for a moment because the head women's basketball coach, Krista Gerlich. Happy birthday, Coach, number 52.
Oh, you didn't have to share the age.
I share the age because she should be proud of her age.
Okay.
And why did we pause?
Because she is the head women's basketball coach at Texas Tech University.
Do we pause? Pause for all people?
Not all people, because we're not going to pause for Dwight Gooden or Vinny Testaverde Sr.
I have a feeling the early morning hours of that birthday not feeling very celebratory.
No. But we shall celebrate her on her birthday today. So happy birthday, Coach. And on this day in 1945, in a move that stirs up some controversy, as part of Operation Paperclip, the United States ships 88 German scientists to America to assist the nation in its production of rocket technology. Most of these men had served in the Nazi regime, and critics of the United States questioned the morality of placing them in the service of America. Nevertheless, the U.S. government, despite desperate to acquire the scientific know-how that had produced the terrifying and destructive V-1 missile and V-2 rockets from Germany during World War II, and fearful that Russians were also utilizing captured German scientists for the same end, welcomed the men with open arms.
Werner von Braun, right? Was part of that?
Braun.
Werner von Braun, the Saturn V guy.
Yes.
Yeah. They probably don't go to the moon without him.
No. Don't have NASA without him.
Right.
But Project Paperclip on this day in 1945.
All right. That is this
day in sports history.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Somebody says this off the Yates Flooring Center chat line with regard to the Dallas Cowboys beating the Washington Redskins this day in 1969. I remember that game. Dallas finally beat Coach Lombardi, who was Washington's coach. And he wasn't Washington's coach very long because he got sick and then died.
That'll end your career.
That will end your career, yes. Dead people can vote, but they can't win football games, Jimmy. Just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
They can vote, but they can't win. They can't win.
Heck, dead people can win a political office too.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Once you're on the ballot, it's hard to get off.
Sometimes that happens. There was I forget what town it was. There was a gal that was running for mayor and was killed in a car crash on election day. Yeah. It's sad, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. 6:52 this morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. We will talk more Tech football at 7. And we'll have Tech and Iowa State from Ames on Saturday. Concerns for you? Is it the Iowa State defense? Is that your biggest 30,000-foot concern and how you attack it?
Other defensive front and being able to run against that front, because I feel like one of the things you did really well this past weekend was run the football and kind of take pressure off your passing game. And I think that Iowa State will do everything they can to make that difficult. That's a really stout defense. So, yeah, that's my main concern.
Okay. And then do you feel good about your defense against their offense?
I probably feel good about the three of us playing against their offense. Yeah, their offense
it's potent.
Their offense is weak sauce. So, yeah, I like our defense against their offense.
You do?
Our defense against their offense, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Risa says this, Jamie, you rock those one-liners. We're going to put Jamie on tour. That's what we're going to do.
What one-liners?
Sometimes your one-liners are so good that they fall on Jeff and mine's inattentive ears. Okay.
Yeah. Strangely enough, my daughters don't think they're that great.
Well, you're of that you're of that age where it just seems like that it's probably hard to make an impact with the daughters right now.
It's hard to make them laugh.
Yeah, it's hard to
laugh at me, maybe, just not with
they
me.
shake their head at you more than anything else.
But that's fun.
Baseball.
I enjoy all of that.
Baseball awards coming out. You like the Terry Francona, the Cleveland Guardians with the American League, but you shake your head at Buck Showalter with the National League?
I think Francona did another awesome job. I think he's one of the best managers in baseball. You know I don't like Showalter, but, I mean, I'm confused. I mean, the Mets spend a ton of money, put together a fantastic roster for him. They choke down the stretch, don't even win the division, and they're a quick out in the postseason. I mean... Okay.
Who should have won it?
In my opinion, they underperformed. I really don't know. I mean, I really don't have. How about the guy that the Phillies hired partway through the season?
Yeah, takes him all the way to the World Series. Yeah. I think I'll be with you on that.
You're tuned in to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
That's not to say that they don't respect the run game that you have, but you're talking about one quarterback leading the conference in passing so far this year. And remember, he didn't start the first game.
Right.
He still played a lot, though.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
I just don't want to disappoint you. As much as I disappoint you, I don't want to disappoint you in some things that you expect from me.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Did I tell you this yesterday? We were walking across the street after the ball game the other night, and the guy asked me if it was cold enough for chili.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And you said yes, it was.
I said yes, it was, and it still is.
And can confirm, chili did taste good this weekend.
There ain't no chili in my house right now, though.
Well,
we had some taco soup that was really, really good, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was really.
That sounds like it would be good this time of year.
It was solid.
I have leftover chili in my refrigerator right now.
Yeah, so. That's one of them that everybody loves. That's an oldie but goodie. The too hot for chili. I mean, when my book comes out, that'll be one that
You'll put it in there?
I'll put it in there.
That might be the title.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Too hot for chili. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be.
Or too hot for Chucky.
Yeah.
Too hot for chili, the Chuck Heinz story.
Boy,
Chuck Heinz stories. There we go. We've just written the title. Now we just got to put the rest of it together.
Too hot for chili at the Colony.
All right. Iowa State is your opponent on Saturday. Here is the head football coach, Joey McGuire, on the Iowa State double cloud defense success.
Well, they do a good job with three-man pass rush, probably one of the best over the last few years, just rushing three. They've got a really good defensive end in number 9. The linebackers are about 3 to 3.5 yards off the ball, and if you give them lanes to run through, they're going to run through. Really, really good tackling team. Fundamentally, they do a lot of things right, almost everything right. And the biggest thing that you see out of them is the effort that they play with. They play football the way you're supposed to play it, especially defensive football. Something that we're getting closer and closer doing with the effort that we're playing with. And so I think you see that with their defense.
Is Will McDonald. He has 18 unassisted tackles, 12 assisted tackles so far on the season. Why is this defense so hard, do you think, to figure out? Is it because nobody else does it and they've kind of perfected it and they can do it in their sleep, or they can do it falling down drunk? Or
well, did they perfect it against you last year?
No, because you beat them.
Yeah, and you scored 30-something points, right?
Yeah. So is it this kind of myth that
was it 41-38? You just told me the score like 2 days ago. Yeah. Anyway, you won. You scored in the 30s. All right. So I think that.
Is it in our head, this double cloud like kind of thing?
It's nightmares. That you've taken
41-38 is the right score from last year.
So, obviously they've been really good defensively this year. So it's not just that it's just been against Texas Tech. Because I think I would throw out there that over the last few years, we've had some rough quarterback play. But Donovan Smith was terrific against them last year in that game. Memory serves me correctly, right?
Yeah.
He scored 41 again.
Garibay with a big field goal.
Yeah.
Tied at 38, 3 seconds to go, 62-yard try. Garibay has his foot into it. It may be long enough. It is good! It is good! It is good! Jonathan Garibay has won the game with a 62-yard field goal. Oh, my God, can you believe that? Woo!
That'd have been a good call for him to just do a mic drop how to go. I can't get any better than that. That's as good as I got, right?
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
there he nailed
good.
it.
Yeah,
I think that they have a system in place that they run well, and they probably recruit to players that fit that system. That would be obvious, right? That would make sense. And,
sure.
I think some of the problems that you've had over the years with it is from bad quarterback play. I do realize that there was some guy named Mahomes at quarterback one of those years where it was pretty rough up there. But I think they've always been able to put pressure on a quarterback with 3. To me, you think so much about the cloud and the extra defensive backs back there or how difficult they make it. That doesn't work unless you can get some pressure with 3. Okay, and they've always been able to do that against the Red Raiders. And you've got to be able, in that situation, if they're dropping that many guys back, you've got to be able to hurt them with a run. And we've talked about this before. You got to be able to gash them. You got to be able to force them to keep more guys in the box. And it just feels like we haven't been able to do that. And like we're gashing them for 2 or we're gashing them for 3. Clearly, gashing's not the right word.
Right.
Okay.
Gashing and slash.
Yeah. That's stumbling for 2, you know. We're rumbling for 3. Okay. We've never been able to hurt them for putting the extra guys in the defensive backfield and not keeping them near the line of scrimmage. We've never been able to hurt them. Our run game hasn't been good enough, and our offensive line hasn't been good enough. And so when you're able to hurt them with the run, then they have to change. They have to do something different.
Isn't that kind of the ultimate compliment for a team when you know what they're going to do to you and they're still able to do it? Isn't that what like all teams kind of strive to do?
Well, it's a compliment, but it also speaks pretty poorly of yourself.
Sure. No.
Right.
Here's
hey, last I checked, we've got 5 guys that we call offensive linemen that are in there on every play, right? 1 center, 2 guards, 2 tackles.
Sure.
They're blitzing 3 or they're rushing 3. They got 3 guys on the line of scrimmage. Those 5 have to keep those 3 away from Tyler Shuck. If they do that, you got a chance. Or they have to create running lanes for Taj Brooks and Sir Roderick Thompson and Cameron Exxon Valdez. All of those. If you can do that, you have a chance. And this is why I'm scared about this game, is because I mean, it feels like one of the things they've always done well is be able to put pressure with 3, be able to handle it with 3. And obviously your offensive line is not the strong part of your team, although I think they played their best game last week.
I feel like that if we slipped that to Coach McGuire and said, hey, they were calling him Valdez over the PA on Saturday, and Jamie came up with
just one guy.
One guy. Yeah. And they, and we kind of came up, or Jamie came up with this nickname for Cameron Exxon. I feel like that would be one of those immediately for the rest of his life he'd be known as Exxon.
Exxon.
Yeah. Why do they call you Exxon? Here's Coach McGuire on attacking the double cloud.
Makes a big difference anytime you can run the ball. It definitely helps. It settles quarterbacks down. The weather that we're going to play in, I think it definitely helps when you can run the ball. And so I think that's going to be a big part of it. They do such a good job of stopping the run, but I think we're going to have to go out there and establish the run and play physical up front.
There you go. It's that simple. It's that simple. Establish the run. And I do think one of the things that he talked about with regard to Cameron Valdez, I mean, and now it's like it's in my...
I'm sorry.
It's in my head. No, it's not your fault. It's just...
It just cracked me up when they...
I know.
When he called him Valdez.
Valdez, right. Yeah, no, yeah. I know. But one of the things that... I think it was Coach Kitley that talked about this with regard to Valdez. He said that he's got a different burst. He said, you see that he pops the hole. He's a different type of runner than Taj Brooks and SaRodorick Thompson. He said he puts his feet in the ground and just goes vertical. So, maybe that can help you against Iowa State, having a different type of runner, whether it's, Cameron, and then, you shift off to whether it's SaRodorick or Taj, whoever's having the better success.
I do think he's definitely a different style of back, and he definitely hits the hole a little bit quicker. There were a couple times where I kind of felt like he did go horizontal too much instead of just, hey, take another 2 yards, just put your shoulder in there and lean forward. And he went sideways and instead got no more extra yards. But I like his burst. I agree with Coach McGuire there, and I feel like he can really help you down the stretch here.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right.
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, 7:32 this morning on the Morning Drive. Time for Jamie's question of the day. What you got for us?
All right, Jamie's question of the day today.
Third person on us
goes to Red Raider basketball. You just mentioned Big 12 hoops, and so we're gonna go that route today. And we'll look ahead to the Maui Invitational for the Red Raiders.
Yep.
And I just want to ask you very simply, your expectations of the week for the Red Raiders, and would a 2-1 record feel like an acceptable week or trip, I guess I should say.
Okay. Well, if you beat Creighton, then I sure want you to beat the team that you would play next, most likely Arkansas, right?
You would think so. Louisville looks horrible.
Yeah. So, because they're only going to play 2 games in Hawaii, right?
3.
They are going to play 3. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
I did say 2.
I know you did, but for some reason I had it in my head that it was just going to be 2, and I was thinking about that the other day, going, that's a hell of a long ways to go for 2 ball games, but they're going to play 3.
It's still a long ways for 3, but
well, with 2-1, so 2-1, sure. I guess if you were to say to me right now, they're going to go 2-1, but man, I'd sure like to. I'd like to win the first game. If you're going to go 2-1, I'd like to win the first game, lose the second game, and win the third game. So you have happiness on the way home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
Perfectly happy with 2-1. That's kind of what I'm expecting for this weekend. Well, I guess the Maui Invitational's not really this weekend, starts Monday. But it can't be Louisville, though. That can't be one of those. That can't be the one.
Yeah, if you lost if you beat Creighton and then lost to Louisville, that would have a different feel.
I feel like my expectations are going to change. Creighton's now ranked 10th. And Arkansas is now ranked 9th.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like that if you you beat Creighton, and then your expectations would change when you took on Arkansas. That's a team you'd want to beat.
Yeah, I still think even if you beat Creighton, I wouldn't be. My expectations wouldn't be that you were going to beat Arkansas, but that you would have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
It would be more so that you have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think 2-1 is what is going to happen, and I absolutely think it's acceptable. Unfortunately, if I was predicting, I would predict you to lose to Creighton and then win your next two on Monday and Tuesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday, I should say, which means you're really probably not going to beat a great team there. You know, because you're going to end up with, you would think, Louisville and then one of the other four that are okay, but nothing great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, boy, if you got that win against Creighton, and even if you lost to Arkansas, you would still feel like you had two really tough opponents there. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that would be obviously a lot better.
I do feel like that you have a bit of a ways to go to get to that spot where you'd feel like you've got a better than average chance. Or do you feel like you've got a better than average chance against Creighton? I just think in order to beat Creighton, you're going to have to really turn your turnovers off. And
I'd say my confidence level is at about a 4 for beating Creighton.
Okay, so
out of 10.
You're at 6 for beating Iowa State.
Yep.
In football.
Mm-hmm.
And is this where we get into the digitometer thing for the bottom line?
No, because it's too confusing.
Okay. They're too confusing for the morning drive, or it's just too confusing?
Too confusing for me.
Oh, too confusing for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is kind of where that's where that would come into play.
Chuck,
You're
made up a
jealous
lot
that
of
you
things.
don't get to play with a digitometer, aren't you?
I'm
You've never gotten to play take versus take.
never gotten to play take versus
Yes, he
take.
has.
No?
He has won a take versus take game. In the other building. With me asking the questions.
Oh, did I
against Marissa.
Oh, wow. This is all that, man, I don't remember that.
Just like you've never had a chocolate malt before.
Because that
No,
involves
that
putting
was
in
chocolate milkshake.
Chocolate shake.
Chocolate milkshake.
Chocolate shake. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a chocolate shake. Right.
And you have one take versus take.
I have one take versus take.
Wow,
So
he seems
Against
very angry.
Marissa, one of the OGs.
who's McGuire seems angry?
Yes, he
Yeah, he
does.
does seem agitated with me, doesn't he?
Yes.
Just because you haven't won one this week doesn't mean you've never won one.
I think the big thing is how are you going to play, right? How are you playing? Because do you feel like? I feel like I said yesterday, I think this is an athletic team. I think this is a fun team, but I also think this is can be a frustrating team. And part of the frustration is, can you shoot the ball better from beyond the arc? Can you be a better 3-point shooting team? I think you can. Jalen Tyson looks like he's the guy that can fill it up. I do like. I would like to see Pop Isaacs, and he's a freshman, so he'll get more consistent as he gets more time.
Sure.
I like Daniel Bacho. I don't know. I think they're just I think they're a fun team, but I think they're going to have to. They cannot be in that 15 to 20 turnover range.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think I would favor Creighton. I would say it's going to be about a 8-point game, 6 to 8 point game.
Okay.
in that first game.
And then you're
going to get Louisville, and you're going to beat them by 20, and then who knows? Ohio State, San Diego State, Cincinnati, Arizona, one of those schools.
Okay.
But I think 2-1 will happen. I think I'll come away happy with it. Especially if in the one loss, it's Creighton, you still play well, you know, and look like you can compete with a top 10 team.
Right now, Tech is averaging 6 threes a game. Their opponent almost 8 threes a game. Red Raiders taking those are last year's stats. Never mind. So, well, I was just pulling it up real quick, and I looked at it without looking to see at the top. It's like, man, that's a heck of a lot of threes already. Yeah. It defaulted to last year's stats.
We're volume shooters.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Nice to have you with us this morning. It is Wednesday, the day the work gets done, with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio in downtown Lubbock, here inside the compound that encompasses many things, including Double T 97.3.
That's right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Many things. Junior leaguers are getting ready for their holiday happening. I was over at Buddy Holly Hall yesterday, and I saw all the trailers.
That's a big deal,
with the
right
different,
there.
With the different kind of, names on the side of them, like Rudolph Sleigh or Jingle Bell, trailer, or they got Christmas themes for that. For their crafts and arts and things along. Tonight's the sneak peek, so that's the big. That's the big night, sneak peek. Mm-hmm. And Santa Claus comes in on Saturday.
That's good.
Okay, so there you go. So better be nice. You don't want to be on the naughty list. Don't want to get coal in your stocking, Jamie.
So you're suggesting I stay quiet for the next hour?
No. Somebody wants to know if I was at the Buddy Holly Hall for the Going Band concert. No, I was not. I noticed the Going Band tractor trailer semi there. I was just picking up some ducats for another event. But the court gestures were done by the alumni band again last night.
Oh, yeah.
Fine performance.
Good job.
By the court gestures.
Is school out already?
No, the Going Band had a concert.
Oh, the Going Band was at the concert.
They had a concert at Buddy Holly Hall last night. So they
were. My bad.
They were unavailable. Guys, lips can't be in two places at the same time. Okay,
that's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair.
So today is, like I said, Wednesday. A week from tonight, is my favorite night of the year. The night before Thanksgiving. There's usually nice smells in the house.
It's good.
Pies and things like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're going to have 2 kinds of pie or 1 kind of pie. I think that's just me and the lucky lady for Thanksgiving. The troops are going to be out of town, so that'll be all right. That'll be all right. Just trying to
more pie for you, right?
Right. The big decision is smoke a turkey or have the lucky lady bake the turkey. And I'm not physically smoke it. Put it in the smoker, not smoke the turkey. Okay.
I think you were the only one confused by that statement.
Okay. All right. So anyway, that's the big topic of conversation now is what
it would be really difficult
to smoke a turkey. Yeah, I bet you people have tried before. Some numbskull.
I mean, how do you hold it up there?
I don't know which end do you like, right? I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, definitely the neck.
The neck.
You would definitely like that. No, I take it back. You'd probably go the other direction. And you would...
I'm sorry, I got us into this conversation.
I'm looking for a hammer
we're getting out.
Slam up against my head right now.
We're getting out. Red Raider basketball, they are idle until Monday. They take on Creighton. Creighton now ranked 10th. The Red Raiders are ranked 23rd. How would you assess things thus far? pleased with the start that they've gotten themselves off to? Realize that there's a lot of clay to mold here with this team?
Yes, I'm pleased with the start that they're off to. I mean, you're 3-0. Can't be any better than that right now. You can only win the games that they put in front of you.
Right. I'm sure they would have liked to have played better in a couple of those games.
Sure. I think there's clearly things to work on, but at the same time, things that you expected, and you know how they say the team's in mid-season form. Mm-hmm. I think they're 3 games into the season form.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, like everybody else.
Right, especially when you consider the number of newcomers that they have.
Sure.
And the people that they're adding into the rotation and things along those lines. So, and they have this week. I'll be really, and I can't sit here and say I'll be able to notice all the differences, but I think we'll hear from Coach Adams, next week after the game, and it'll be interesting to me to hear the improvement that they made or the things that they worked on that they were happy with when it comes to when they're taking on Creighton. It's like, okay, we worked on all of this stuff here, and as a result of that, this is what transpired, and this was the fruit of that labor over the last week.
Okay. I mean, I think that you're going to have to pick up your game a little bit over Monday night. Be a little bit more crisp with a lot of things you're doing, especially taking care of the basketball, like you've pointed that out. Maybe a little bit more consistent shooting the ball, but I also think you're probably going to have to defend a little bit better than you did. It felt like, even though you gave up just 55 points, it felt like there were a lot of free shots at the basket, open looks at the rim for Louisiana Tech.
Mm-hmm. So they take on Creighton. It'll be a 1:30 tip time. Our coverage at 12:30 on Monday here on Double T 97.3 as they take on the number 10 Creighton Blue Jays in the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. That has a little Tyler John Tyler feel to it. Maui Jim Maui, Tyler John Tyler. Right? I mean, doesn't it?
It's just Tyler High, Chuck.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you have offended many.
By calling it Tyler John Tyler.
Yeah, there are many offended right now.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for those that I've offended.
Sorry that you're offended.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you're offended. All right, so here's what the conference looks like. You got Baylor, the number 5 team in the country. They're 3-0. Kansas, the number 6 team in the country. They're 3-0. They beat Duke last night. Texas Tech is also 3-0. As is West Virginia. Iowa State is 2-0. Kansas State is 2-0. And Texas, who plays number 2 Gonzaga, is 2-0 on the season. So here's my question, and you can think about it if you'd like. If Texas wins over Gonzaga, do they shoot up above everybody else in terms of, kind of how you'd rank the conference?
If that happens, I guess so. As far as right now, doesn't mean I'm going to predict them to win the conference.
Right.
But as of right now,
because that'd be the best win.
That'd be the best win, right?
Right. And maybe the best win right now would be Kansas's win over number 7 Duke last night.
Yes, I don't think there's any question.
Okay.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.